I have been saying for a while now that any day at this point, any day now, some inciting incident is going to occur that is going to result in what is essentially the next, I guess, stage, the next version, the next iteration of Gamergate, essentially. Now, I am of the opinion that online politics, at least for the foreseeable future, is going to fluctuate sort of like a pendulum back and forth between left-wing dominated and right-wing dominated, sort of following the election cycle, kind of going by the opposite or whatever. And I think that each time the right sort of sees a big surge online, they're going to have some major cultural sort of like culture war narrative that they're going to launch their success off of. And I genuinely think this could be a runner-up for one of those inciting incidents that could result in a potential Gamergate 2, or at the very least, a very large outpouring of anti-left-wing sentiment on the internet all across the board. So let's go ahead and talk about that. How many of you have heard of the AntiWork subreddit? I'm not even gonna wait for your answers to that question because that's a rhetorical question. A lot of you have. Actually, in fact, probably all of you have, because this is my second take of this segment. But the AntiWork subreddit is a subreddit of pretty left-leaning people. Probably the largest collection of left-leaning people on the internet right now, I think, would probably be the AntiWork subreddit. I mean, legitimately, right? Like, 1.7 million members, 31.9 thousand online right now alone. Pretty big fucking deal, you know. This is a large community growing very, very quickly and getting a lot of attention. Or we watched Avash. Oh, did he cover it already? God damn it. Anyway. Yeah, so the AntiWork subreddit is a subreddit that is, as it says, a subreddit for those who want to end work, are curious about ending work, want to get the most out of a work-free life, want more information on anti-work ideas, and want personal help from their own job/work-related struggles. The general idea behind this subreddit is that labor and work are different things, that work is what our bosses make us do so that they can extract labor from us that makes them money, while labor is the extraneous activity that you do to make sure that society and, you know, just to make sure that you get done what needs to get done, right? That society can function, that you're doing what you need to survive, etc., right? Generally, it seems like the subreddit does not encourage laziness necessarily, but discourages the brutally, just absolutely shameless work culture that we have here in America that almost seems to glorify the idea of working yourself to death for your boss, right? We do have a very, very strict work culture here in America. So a subreddit like this, definitely, you know, growing as much as it was definitely a good thing, you know, to see that much growth. However, naturally, if a left-wing community like this is growing as much as it is online, and so many people are interested in it, so many people are joining this community, so many people are talking about it, etc., naturally, at some point, some news organization or some mainstream media organization is going to reach out and they're going to attempt to do a story on this niche online community. And all the anti-work subreddit mods were all like, okay, we probably shouldn't do this. It could be bad. Let's just not talk to the press. We're not going to do that, okay? We're just going to do our own thing. But for some reason, this one Reddit mod who, and I promise you it is relevant. I swear to God it's relevant, and that we'll be talking about why it's relevant later, who is a 30-year-old trans woman dog walker who's a Reddit mod. Is who we have going on to Fox News here. Let's just say if you were a bad person, there would be a lot of angles that you could attack this individual from. That is all I'm going to say about this individual. And they didn't exactly do a very good job, just on a basic like intellectual level of defending the ideas of anti-worker, even of any like left-wing ideas. Period. They were just wholly unprepared for it. We'll break it down when we see it. Let's go ahead and enjoy. You guys might want to like prepare to cringe because this clip I think might have set back every pro-worker movement in America, maybe about like 5 years. This clip alone.
Over 1.6 million subscribers. Joining me now is the person who operates this anti-work group, Doreen Ford.
God, I hate that, like, there's so much shit on screens now that if you accidentally click, it does stuff now. This person doesn't actually run the subreddit, but they do. They're a moderator on it. I actually can't make it any louder. I don't have a volume booster app on this thing yet. I don't know why it's so quiet though. So hopefully you guys can like turn up your volume and hear it all right.
All right, so Doreen, why do you like the idea of being home, not working, but still getting...
Oh my lord. Look at that, all right? Look at that leftist lighting, leftist camera quality. I can hear the white noise coming from I'm pretty sure the earbud microphone she's using. The earbud microphone, I can hear the white noise. Backlit, you know, that's always a good sign. Backlighting is very, very good for any visuals. Oh, God.
Paid by corporate America.
Yeah. So there's some misconceptions about the movement. So we're a movement where we want to reduce the amount of work that people feel like they're forced to do. And so we want to still put in effort. We want to put in labor.
Yeah, that noise is slowly microwaving my brain, but it's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, that noise is the least of our worries here, okay? So no hate to this person individually, though I heard that they kind of went on like a banning spree on the AntiWork subreddit. I think like the whole mod team went on a banning spree on the AntiWork subreddit after this to sort of like, I think they had more members, like hundreds of thousands, maybe more members before this happened. I'm pretty sure the subreddit went into a meltdown, like a cataclysmic meltdown when all this went down. That's an understatement. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this Reddit moderator went into an absolute just banning spree and went on a power trip after this at full damage control. I know I keep bringing it up, but I've been pointing out that more and more it feels like the left is going back to the way it was prior to like back in the Gamergate days, back when the online left unironically demonized the idea of being able to defend your positions against the right. Back when the right was able to say the left is afraid to debate and defend their positions, and they were correct about it. I'm seeing like a worrying amount of popular left-wing figures move more in that direction, particularly with the whole anti-debate bro thing. And we're seeing all of that correlate with a rise in the, right-wing content. And then, of course, now we have, I think, the perfect example of the type of person I'm talking about. Someone who can't even go onto Fox News and represent like basic left-wing, like pro-worker ideas without stuttering every other word. Now, I don't want to be mean. All I'm saying is if you're going to be the person representing this entire movement of millions of people, then yes, if you fuck up, you're going to get a lot of shit. Okay? You're going to get a lot of shit.
But we don't want to necessarily be in a position where we feel trapped. You just quoted from Office Space where that person feels very trapped in their job. I think we're calling for a society where there's less of that. But yeah, absolutely, people still want to do things. They just want to do things where they feel rewarded and they feel like they're in a good spot in their life and that their job respects them and stuff like that. There's varying.
So Doreen, but you're not being forced to work. This isn't slave labor. You've applied for a job. You've agreed to the terms and conditions of the employment. And, you can walk away from that job at any time and quit. So
this is like a level 1 argument to respond to. This is like for me, this would be like when you're playing like an MMO or something like that, or like Skyrim or something, and you fight your first enemy and it's like pitifully weak, okay? That's what this argument that was just presented is. Like, oh, well, you think that living under capitalism is wage slavery? Well, no one's forcing you to work. You can literally just leave your job. No, like you're not being forced to. That's literally like we're at like level 1. Actually, this is actually what the coconut analogy is used to explain. Ironically enough, though, I guarantee this person probably thinks Vosh is a pedophile. Basically, the easy response to that is, well, in practice, you kind of are forced to work. If you don't work, you can't make money. You need money to buy food and pay for shelter and the things you need to live. You have to work a job to make that money. So I guess you could always just quit and go lay in a gutter and die, I suppose. It's always an option. But if you want to continue living anywhere close to a decent life, then you kind of do have to work or die. Yes. That would be the easy response. Let's see what this person responds with.
I don't understand really what this is about, except it sounds like maybe people are just being lazy. Are you encouraging people to be lazy?
So I think laziness is a virtue in a society where people constantly want you to be productive 24/7.
So their response to that is, I think laziness is a virtue in a society where everyone wants you to be productive. That is their response. Not only, yes, we are promoting laziness. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. The straw man of the entire movement you just presented here, yes, in fact, yes, we are, in fact. Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's literally what they did. Yeah. Be Sigma, own it? Well, no, that's not a thing to bite the bullet on. That's not like a Sigma thing to own. No, lefties are not encouraging people to be lazy. We're literally arguing simply for workers to be able to have like some level of basic rights in their workplaces, insofar as workplace democracy and like how much they're being like, reimbursed for their labor, trying to make sure that there's not a single person in America who's living in poverty. Like, I feel like these are some pretty basic tenets of left-wing ideas. I don't feel like you need to bite the bullet when they're just straw manning the left.
7, and it's good to have rest. That doesn't mean you should be resting all the time or not putting effort into things that you care about.
That's
but
not
I think
a stun
one of
loss.
What do you think is like a good work day? How many hours is a solid work day in your ideal society?
I love this part.
Sure. I mean, I think as much as people want. I mean, I personally work. I have like a 25 hour work weeks, which I think is fairly good.
20 to 25 hour work week. How much do I generally work a week if we're just counting stream time? Probably like less than that, right? Maybe around that time, less than that. That is a ridiculously low amount of time to work a job. That's like isn't that less than part-time? That's part-time work, right? 6 or 7 hours a day. Isn't 25 hours a week like part-time basically? Yeah, that's a part-time job. Yeah, this person's probably like living with their parents or roommates or something in order to be able to afford to live that way. Just it really doesn't look good when somebody I have to be so careful. Let's finish the video. We're gonna finish the video.
So I would like less work hours.
And what do you do, Doreen?
I'm a dog walker.
A dog walker. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure, I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay. And is there something you want to do besides being a dog walker? Do you aspire to do anything more than dog walking, or is that kind of your pinnacle?
I love working with dogs. If I had to do this for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be super complaining. Dogs are wonderful animals. But I would love to teach. I would love to, work with people and stuff like that.
What would you teach, Doreen?
Philosophy mostly. Just introduction to philosophy, critical thinking, reason, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I would love to take your class, Doreen.
Look at this ghoul's fucking smug smile.
Be taking notes the whole time, and you know what?
This guy, I want to point out, by the way, very clearly, because the left is incapable of realizing when they're taking the L. The lefties are literally incapable of realizing when they're taking the L. There's like I don't know how so many people on the left lack self-awareness, like how they can, like, I guarantee this Reddit moderator feels like they're doing a good job in the moment. She feels like she's doing a good job. But as you can see, the look on this guy's face, he's just had a W absolutely handed to him on a platter, along with the whole rest of the right. The right has had an absolute massive, steaming, juicy, fresh, out of the oven W handed to them on a platter with this entire clip. And he knows it. Come on.
Okay. Well, I would love to take your class, Doreen. I would just be taking notes the whole time. And you know what? A professor's a very similar schedule than something that you're imagining. So I think that actually might work perfectly for you. Listen, I think this might not be the greatest idea, but who am I to judge? To each their own, they say. It's a free country.
Oh, good lord. So as you can imagine, that interview perhaps didn't really do the best job of giving people a good opinion of the online left. In fact, over here on our videos, it had this 65,000 upvote post of it from 4 days ago with just a ridiculous amount of awards. Reddit mod gets laughed at on Fox News. Had to get locked down by moderators. I'm sure because there was plenty of transphobia in the comments because this person is a trans woman and, well, let's just say the internet isn't very, not a very big fan of trans people. Also, it doesn't help that she's literally, like, doing this the whole video, like, fidgeting back and forth, like, doing the thing where you spin your chair left and right a little bit because you're nervous or bored or whatever. Doesn't really help that they're doing that. For a 3.5-minute interview, you should be able to stay completely still for that long if you're going to represent this type of thing. Come on. Anyway, as you can imagine, this did not roll over well on the internet. In fact, if you go ahead and go on YouTube and Google AntiWork Reddit interview, we can see Asmongold reacting to the video with 472,000 likes. Millennials don't want a job. Asmongold reacts to anti-work. These are some smaller view videos. Here's some larger one. This is actually one that's supporting anti-work. Whew, what a bad timing on this video, huh? There's, a good amount of people going online right now to talk about the downfall of anti-work and just generally sort of dunk on of course, the quartering, of course. Yep, gotta have the quartering. Anti-work Reddit mod has disastrous Fox News interview, and the backlash is hilarious. 180,000 views. You love to see it. So, of course, the right is, of course, just absolutely losing some ordinary gamers. I mean, yeah, of course, everybody's laughing at this shit. Like, if you are anybody who is sane on the internet, regardless of your political opinion, the showing that person gave just makes the left look worse, okay? Just makes the left look infinitely worse than anything else could. This is like, you have like a Fox News interview and you want to represent feminism and you bring on Big Red, okay? Like, I'm sorry, but the internet has a very, very negative connotation when it comes to certain identities and certain ways of presenting yourself, and it just so happens that some things kind of didn't work out here. Leftoids not shoot yourself in the foot challenge, literally impossible indeed. There's really not much to say about this particular drama. I do want to say, though, I think that this person perfectly represents everything that is wrong with the left right now, or everything that I've sort of watched the left start to devolve into getting worse with, particularly lately. And it has to do with, like... So, let me tell you guys a story. And I've told this story a little bit, but I want to tell a little bit more because I feel like it's important. So... back in 2014, which is when I'd say Gamergate started, that's around the time it started. Back in 2014, the online left mostly existed on Tumblr in the form of young, queer people, mostly women, trans, etc., usually in their early 20s and their teens, just fucking around on Tumblr. And let's just say the type of feminism, the type of progressivism that became prevalent on Tumblr wasn't exactly looked upon positively by the broader internet. Not positively at all, okay? In fact, Tumblr culture to this day is still seen as like one of the biggest scorns to the internet, I guess you could say, in all of its history. So with that said, this allowed the right basically carte blanche online to claim that the left is all sorts of things, right? And you had these large figures online who were able to represent the left that way, and there just weren't very many left-wing figures online who were willing to come out and say, okay, but this isn't what the left is. There weren't many figures that were like that. I mean, Seanhead and Chris Raygun did, but they kind of jumped on board with the bandwagon like everybody else did at the time, right? And so, essentially, there was this perspective for a lot of people at that time that the left was just incapable of representing their ideas. And that's because every video that would come out of a left-wing person speaking in these spaces would always be some college student or person who is just old enough that they should know better, having some sort of mental breakdown. Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, that was what the left was being represented by online in the vast majority of cases. You know, it may suck, may not like it, may not be a big fan of it, but unfortunately, that is how the left was represented. And for a long time, people like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson and all these right-wing figures, like Sargon even, were able to say the left just can't debate. The left is too afraid to debate their ideas. And they began growing an empire, an entire community on very, very flimsy logic. Like, their talking points that they basically built a whole empire on had just, the logic with them was very, very flimsy. So all it took was one guy who doesn't have a sub-30 IQ coming along, Destiny, who like understands these issues and has done a good amount of research. Sam, that card is dry. I know, I'm sucking on the fucking fumes, Chris Stewart. It's okay, though. Lonnie's fucking concert takes place at a dispensary tonight, so I'm going to buy some more weed. They were kind of right. There really was no good representation of the left online at that time. So when Destiny came along and was actually able to tackle these ideas and had a basic understanding of these issues and was able to actually debunk these talking points, he blew up in popularity, and very quickly it almost seemed like as Destiny grew and as the other left-wing creators who also were able to do a decent job of explaining their ideas sort of grew, it seemed like, the right started to lose power online, the left started to get it quite a bit bigger. And then we saw in 2019 to 2020, we saw the online left was at its absolute peak. Vosh gained like 150,000 subs in like a month during 2020, okay? Online politics for the left was at its fucking peak during the election year, okay? There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? And now it's gone down. And we're seeing the right start to come back again. And I think it has a lot to do with, you're seeing a lot more of these, and I have nothing against this type of content. All I'm saying is this type of content, there are YouTubers who do this type of content that tend to be very high and mighty about it. These fucking video essayists who, for some goddamn reason, seem to hate the idea of debate and hate debate bros that talk nonstop shit on Twitter and subtweet and talk shit out the side of their mouth in videos and stuff like that, who seem to be growing in popularity lately. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm totally happy with left-wing figures, even if I don't like them, growing in popularity. My worry is, it concerns me, what happens when the right-wing YouTubers that are, also really large in their size start taking jabs at them and they're incapable of defending their ideas should it ever come to a live debate format? What happens when insert large video essayist who hates to debate bros that's basically a representative of the left at the time ends up finally agreeing to a debate with a large right-wing YouTuber and gets steamrolled? What happens then? That's a worry that sticks in my mind a lot. You may think that sounds far-fetched, but that's exactly what happened here. A completely unprepared, not necessarily misinformed, but, misled as to how aware and well-reasoned they are on these issues, person came along, thought they could represent these ideas on a large public platform, and they couldn't. The second they experienced any pushback from a real conservative, they couldn't handle it, because these people literally spend all their time on Reddit and on Tumblr, and they think that the worst examples of racism they've ever seen in their lives are like that one clip of Vosh saying the N-word, right? Like, that is the worst instance of racism or bigotry they've ever experienced in their lives. That's as bad as they think it gets, right? Like, that's how sheltered these people are. And I know I may be sort of broadening an umbrella here, and I'm generalizing entire groups of people and everything like that. But I'll say this: I've been in these communities for a very long time now, and I've noticed it myself. It's not like a fluke. It is not like a smoke and mirrors type thing. I'm seeing something where it's not really there. There's definitely a problem here. This has the whole internet talking. Everybody is talking about how pathetic online leftists are right now, how pathetic online internet socialists are right now. That is the whole internet just absolutely dunking on the online left right now because of this video. And I don't think this is that this means that we should be shit-talking people who are incapable of defending their ideas. All I'm saying is we're seeing people like that, people in communities like that behave that way, that are incapable of defending their ideas, who are trying to essentially excise what they deem debate bros from the left. And they've done it quite effectively. I mean, you can look at, they just fucking got Lindsay, they just canceled the fuck out of Lindsay Ellis, and she ended up quitting YouTube. Okay, like, she's gone. We lost Lindsay Ellis, one of the largest left-wing figures on YouTube. She is gone. She is not creating content anymore. That's one down. The Woke Scold's got one. One of the largest ones. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if ContraPoints announces her retirement from YouTube anytime soon. Like, I honestly, frankly, I would not be surprised. Like, if I were ContraPoints, I would be planning on retiring within the year if I were her. Like, I have no doubt that within the next coming years, you're going to see some of these YouTubers retire because the pressure's just too much for them. They made their bag, and now they can finally, you know, rest. And you know what? Good for them. I have no doubt that'll happen. No, not Contra, please. I hope she does retire for her own sake and mental health, okay? ContraPoints is just going off of what she says online. Not that I have, like, any special contact with her or anything, but she is going through some really, really bad shit when it comes to her mental health. And frankly, a lot of these, figures that are on the receiving end of this harassment are in the same place. So yeah, please no. Imagine if the commentary community and BreadTube cross paths, Lamel. They kind of are, and it's not going well for BreadTube. That's all I'll say. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me, please consider liking the video. It helps out the channel and the video a lot more than you guys even realize. Subscribe over on YouTube and ring the bell icon if you haven't already, so YouTube actually tells you when I upload a new video or go live or basically do anything on the channel. And of course, if you want to follow any of my social media, links are down below, including my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, fan Discord, where you'll find me lurking in there sometimes. And of course, if you want to support me financially, there are also links down below where you can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub over my website, super chat over on YouTube, gift a sub, subscribe, or prime sub over on Twitch, donate through Streamlabs, pledge on Patreon, or even buy some merch through the merch link in the description. We got all sorts of cool merch down there in the merch store, so go ahead and hit that link in the description of the stream right now. Buy yourself some merch if you want to buy some Xander Hall merch, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.